Hi everyone, my name is Nicole Ye. I'm a math tutor here at the Nancy Thompson Learning Commons, which is the library located on Kean University's Union campus. Today we're going to go over how to conquer math anxiety. So as you might imagine, many of you feel a little nervous, maybe when you hear a professor say, okay, what's the answer to this math problem? Can you give me the formula? So what are some things that you might experience when you feel math anxiety? Of course, nervousness during the test or when you're called on to answer questions in class. You might feel avoidance of doing the homework because you just think you're not good enough at math. It's impossible to figure out. We all have fears that we deal with on a daily basis. But math anxiety is with the right approach, you study the right way, and if you have the will to succeed, you keep trying, working hard, your learning will lead to success. Poor performance in math is not because you lack intelligence. So a lot of people will say, man, I have a bad memory, but a lot of us, we can remember a lot of music lyrics, So really, it's not our memory that's the problem. It's maybe our techniques. Maybe we had a bad teacher and we're a little traumatized by that. And now you're hesitant and they didn't set you up with the foundations in math, algebra, pre-algebra, and now you're struggling with your fractions or decimals in a calc class. And that's not because you can't do it, but first you have to believe you can. So math anxiety is a learned behavior, and we can change our bad habits or negative thinking into a more positive thinking. And if we learn all the skills, the logical skills, analysis skills, and we take our time with the problem, definitely write down everything, take good notes in class. If you learn the right skills, you can master any math, even something super hard like calculus. I know I myself struggled with differential equations, the class after Calc 3, and I know a lot of my friends struggled with proofs. They liked algebra, but they hated geometry. They struggled to pass in statistics. So we all have our math problems and wish the math textbooks would solve themselves, but you can make the change and believe in yourself. Just apply, work hard on your homework problems, and you'll do well on the test. So some more practical tips after that pep talk. You want to show up to class and actively learn. Do that. You can take good notes, legible ones that you can read. Write down all the formulas on the board, write down what your professor's saying. You can write it verbatim, and then when you're going over your notes later, you can highlight. And you want to ask questions, be active in the class, raise your hand. You can also actively learn you don't try to process everything at once, because you're not going to fully understand the concept that you just learned 5 minutes ago. But if you can kind of get the overview and write down all the details and then practice with your homework, you can organize your class material. So definitely have your folder, notebook. If you're more of a digital person, you want to have file folders for each class and save it in the right place. Have good file names too. So a lot of people use OneNote by Microsoft, the little purple notebook on their iPad or computer, and you just want to have different sections, write the date, write the professor's name, your name, all that good stuff in the beginning, write what chapter it is, underline it at the top, so that way you can, when you have to go back and find that date's homework or that practice problem from class, you know which number it is, what page to refer to. Throughout the semester, of course, you're going to have tests given by your teacher or professor, but you can also do little short quizzes yourself to kind of test your knowledge on the material and see what problems you might struggle with and which ones you want to work on more by yourself before the exam rolls around. Motivate yourself with that positive self-talk. Don't believe that you can't do it or that it's just too difficult, you're never going to get it. Instead, you can say things like, I don't get it yet, but I'm working on X, Y, and Z. Believe that if I try my hardest, I'm going to at least pass this next test and I can do it. I can do this problem if I try tomorrow. Sometimes you have to go back to a problem when your mind is more clear, when the knowledge from the class has settled in. So definitely know the resources and use all of them. So besides your teacher in the class, during class time, you of course have professors' office hours. You can email your teachers. Definitely get a group chat, have one study buddy, text your friend in the class that is doing well, and then you can share notes, you can review together, you can look online. Khan Academy is really popular, but your school might also offer more specific tutoring resources are available. Everything is just a click or a question away. Feel free to ask any of the tutors on campus and your classmates, and of course your professors. So I imagine math as like this giant pyramid, and you have bricks on the bottom of the pyramid, and once you lay down those foundations, you can build up to the next level. So if you're struggling with the basics, middle school, like algebra and fractions and decimals, you want to review those first before you can move on to the harder algebra, trigonometry, calculus, so on and so forth. So of course, looking at your examples from class and then doing them on your own time without your notes, or of course without the teacher helping you out, is a good practice. And of course do your homework, all of it. You can, when you get back your exam or any quizzes, assessments, correct the questions that you missed. Work them out again on your own time as a good review to see if you can figure out the problem, and go over the ones that you got correct too, just to see that you fully understand the concepts. Maybe you managed to get it right, but it took a long time and you were kind of shaky on problem 2, and you just want to review and make sure it's all in your brain so that you're ready for the next step, the next chapter, the next class. And keep all your material together, organized in one binder, one notebook and folder, so that way it's not scattered around. I know some people use the portfolio with like 7 folders in one, so they can have all the things for one class, and then they move it. They get back this week's test, they put it in there, in the portfolio, the accordion file, and then they can move it to the math binder, your English homework, old assessments, and essays into your English binder or folder. And of course, math, honestly, is just a lot of practice. You're not just able to take what you learned in class and immediately use it on your own. You need to practice using it, just like in sports, how you can see someone kick a winning goal, and you can be taught how to kick into the soccer goal, but you have to practice over and over and over on the field until you can aim right, and have the right speed and power behind your kick. So it's test day and you're a little nervous. That's okay, everyone is. But what are some coping mechanisms that you can utilize before a test? So if you feel your anxiety building up and you're really nervous about this grade, you can use some of these methods. So breathing and focus. You want to take in some deep breaths. You show up early, you can get set up, and just if you're not comfortable with closing your eyes, you can just look down at one spot, breathe in as slow as you can, hold, and breathe out through your mouth. If you do that a few times, you might be able to feel your stomach, the diaphragm area, moving in and out rather than just your lungs. And you can focus on the exam. So you want to do one problem at a time, one step at a time, because it's easy to kind of get overwhelmed when you see all those blanks and you're like, I gotta do this, I remember this part. So one step at a time, problem 1, part A, And then once you're finished with that, box the answer, write it in the right spot, then move on to 2, and then 3, and so forth and so on. So the day before the test or the night before, you can write about how you're going to feel about this test. So how you're feeling is a good way to kind of get out those anxious thoughts. And studies show that it helps, so that way you can make a plan for different techniques you can use to kind of calm yourself down. Being nervous about something and being excited for something. So some people are excited about riding a roller coaster, but other people are terrified of heights and moving so fast. So you can shift your mindset because a lot of the symptoms are similar. So, the racing heartbeats, the shallow breathing, flushed face, blushing, and, the jittery nervousness, sitting in a chair. Shifting from being anxious about the test to thinking of it as a challenge can help you have a more positive mindset as you go into the test. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're on the first floor of the Nancy Thompson Learning Commons. I believe that you can do well in math, and you should too. Thank you for watching this video.